Hi guys, welcome to my channel Happy High Tarot. Before we begin today's reading, I'd like to introduce you to my sponsor Keen and tell you how they can help you. So, Keen is an online platform that's been operational since 25 years now and allows you to easily find and connect with a psychic advisor 24/7. Their advisors can help you on a multitude of subjects such as love, family, career, any astrological questions you might have. And it's really simple to get a reading on Keen. You just need to create an account, choose from the many readers that are online, and you're good to go. You can then talk to an advisor of your choice through chat or call. I always use the chat option, and I love how prompt the advisors are with their replies. As a new customer on Keen, you can talk to a psychic advisor for just $1 for the first 5 minutes. Simply click the link in my description box, trykeen.com/happyhightarot, and enjoy your first reading. In today's pickacard reading, we will find out all about your past life, who were you in your past life, and what was your past life like. So, this is actually going to be a two-part reading. In the first part over here on YouTube, we'll cover what I just told you. And then after watching this reading, you'll need to go to the timestamps, click on part 2 of your reading, make sure you select the group that you are choosing right now. And in the second part of your reading, we will find out how is your past life affecting your present life and what guidance would spirit like to give you. So you can see an image on your screen right now. You've got 3 options to choose from. Feel free to pause the video over here, meditate on all your options, pick whichever one calls out to you the most. You'll find the timestamps in the comment section as well as in the description box below. So make your choice and let's get started. Hi group 1, so if you guys chose the first image, in this first part of the reading, we will find out who were you in your past life and what was your past life like. Once you're done watching this reading, please go back to the timestamps, again choose pile number 1, click for the second part of your reading in which we will cover how is your past life affecting your present life and what guidance would spirit like to give you for your present life. So let's start by taking a look at your oracle cards. So the cards that came out for you guys are Damsel, that says understanding the healthy nature of romance inspires you to rely on yourself. Then we have Destroyer, that says releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for new life. From the tea leaves, we have Clouds, that says temporary problems, a journey either physical or mental. And from the tarot cards, we have the Knight of Swords and the Journey, which is basically the Death card. Alright, so let's find out who were you in your past life. Right off the bat with Damsel, Destroyer, then Clouds and Carriage, I feel like there is a strong possibility that in your past life, and this is a very random message of course, your first name and surname perhaps both began with the same letter. And maybe for some of you, this is something that's true to your present life as well. Your surname and first name both begin with the same letter. Anyway, one thing that is coming across quite strongly about your past life is that you weren't happy in the family or in the institution in which you were born. For sure, you were someone who was very privileged. You were born into privilege. And it is quite possible over here with Damsel and Carriage, and of course with the Knight of Swords over here as well, that you could have been the prince or the princess of some kingdom, even though the courtly affairs and how to rule over a kingdom, things like that, they did not excite you one bit. You did not like that at all. In fact, with the presence of Destroyer over here and the Journey, I think from a very young age it was very clear to you that this is not the path that you want to go down on. You do not want to take over the kingdom from your father or from your mother. You want to do something different. You want to create your own path. You were someone who was very temperamental. It was very difficult for anyone to get you to do something that you weren't willing to do. And I think with these birds over here, the Knight of Swords and then Journey, and of course with the presence of Clouds, I feel like you did not like the superficial life that you were living in the kingdom or in this maybe nobility or whatever this privileged family was, and your heart really went out to the people of your kingdom or to the other people living in the same town or city or whatever it was as you. And with the presence of the journey, and especially with the moon over there peeking at us from the back, and then carriage, I'm getting the strong feeling that even in your past life, actually, not even in your past life, you would often sneak out at night and you would go around and see, is anybody suffering? Does anybody need your help? And then you would go out of your way to help those people. In fact, with the Knight of Swords over here, I don't think you ever really stayed at one place, especially if it was a huge kingdom whose prince or princess you were. You were constantly traveling, mingling with the common public, meeting with the people, really talking to them, getting down on their level, asking them what was bothering them, and coming up with solutions. With the presence of Destroyer and Journey over here, I don't think you were the kind of person who was always constantly reporting back to the king or queen. You were just handling affairs as and when they popped up all by yourself, doing what you thought was probably the right thing to do. In fact, with the presence of Destroyer over here, I also feel, Group 1, that you were the kind of people who did not really like that there was such a stringent set of rules and regulations and customs and practices in place. And with the presence of Journey being right underneath the Destroyer card, I think back in that time, you did whatever you possibly could to alleviate your society, your kingdom, your people from some of those age old traditions, customs, and norms which you thought were very redundant, which you thought weren't really serving any purpose, and maybe some of them were detrimental, and you did not see any good in them, you did not see any logic in them. In fact, with the presence of Knight of Swords, I feel like you were the kind of person in your past life who was always looking for something intellectual, something meaningful, something that made sense. And if something did not make sense to you, you wouldn't abide by it no matter what. In fact, with the Journey card over here, which is the Death's energy, and of course the Carriage card, plus as we have the Destroyer's energy over here as well, I also feel like the kingdom, like whatever kingdom that was, it could have ended with you, especially if somehow you were the heir to the throne. I don't think you took that offer. Maybe if you had some sibling, they did, but you definitely shunned that. In fact, you know how these days we often talk about that one child who's born in a family whose duty it is to break generational patterns? I think in your past life, this is something that you've already done. In your past life, you've already broken tons and tons of generational patterns. Okay, now let's see, what was your past life like? So the cards that came out for it are Faith, then we have Enlightenment. I'm going to put these here. Then from the tarot cards, we have the Knight of Wands, the Two of Wands, and the Three of Wands. All right, the Two of Wands says decision, Three of Wands over here says fulfillment. With Faith and Enlightenment over here, I'm getting the strong feeling that in your past life, there could have been a spiritual mentor or some guru of yours who used to give you very good advice, very good guidance. They used to show you the way, they used to help you stay right on track. And with Enlightenment, I think that this spiritual advisor of yours really helped you to discover what more there is to the world outside of your kingdom, outside of your life of privilege and your life of luxury. In fact, with the Knight of Wands over here and the Two of Wands, maybe for some time in your life, your family kept you very sheltered from all the things that keep happening in our world. Good and bad has always been in existence, right? And the good thing over here with Enlightenment, as you can see, is that it's actually a little boy standing in front of what seems to be this spiritual master or something like that. So whoever this spiritual advisor, mentor, or guru of yours was, you found that person at a very young age. And I think that played a key role in shaping you into the adult that you eventually became. With faith over here, the people of that kingdom or the people of that town or that city absolutely adored you. All of them really, really loved you, not just because you had left everything behind for their sake, but more so because the actions that you did for them, the service that you did for them, you can say that it reinstilled their hope in humanity. Because with the three of wands over here and two of wands, I'm getting this feeling that whoever your parents were or whoever was in charge of that kingdom or that town, I don't think they ever really bothered to find out exactly what was going on or what the ground reality was. It was you who did it, and that made you an instant hit, that made you a crowd favorite. With the knight of wands over here and the three of wands, I don't think, I think this is what I channeled earlier also with the carriage's energy, that you did not limit yourself to just one part of the kingdom or one part of that state. You were constantly on the move, you would travel a lot. With faith over here in the knight of wands, I don't think you had any family as such in particular. I don't think you went ahead and got married or had kids or settled down in that sense. However, you did have a good big entourage. There were a lot of people who became a part of your group. So it was you and these bunch of other people, and together you guys would travel, go here and there, talk to people, find out what their issues were, help them as best as you could. In fact, with enlightenment over here, I think this was something that you did till your last day of your past life, right? Till the time you were an old person, till the time you breathed your last, you were just traveling from one place to the next, listening to people, listening to their stories, imparting the wisdom that you had collected over the years from your own experiences, enriching them, um, perhaps, telling them wonderful stories, doing whatever you could for them. In fact, with faith over here, another message that I just received, group one, was whenever you would be traveling here and there, people would give you goods out of their own will, to help you out, whether it was food or whether it was money, something like that. But you would always use those goods to help others. You would basically act as a medium that would pass on one person's kindness on to the next. In fact, I also feel like the place where you rested ultimately was not the same place as your kingdom. I think you really traveled far and wide and absolutely lost touch with the people or like the family that you were born into. So these are all the messages that I have for you right now for this particular reading. Now you have to go back to the timestamps, click on part 2 of your reading, make sure you select group 1 again so that you can find out how your past life is affecting your present life and what guidance would spirit like to give you for your present life. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new over here and hit the bell icon when you do so. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hi group 2, if you guys chose the second image, this is part 1 of your reading in which we will find out who were you in your past life and what was your past life like. Once you're done watching this reading, make sure to go back to the timestamps, click on part 2 of your reading. Please select pile 2 again. And in that reading, we will find out how is your past life affecting your present life and what guidance does spirit have for you for your present life. So let's start by taking a look at your oracles. The cards that came out for you guys are Child, that says determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes. Then we have Hero or Heroine, that says passion for a journey of personal empowerment. From the tea leaves, we have Hat, that says you will be playing role. Gavel, that says involvement with the law. And from your tarot cards, we have the Page of Stones, which is basically the Page of Pentacles. And we have the Mirror, which is the Hanged Man's energy. Alright, so who were you in your past life, group 2? So the first thing that I can say over here is that you grew up sooner than most kids do. And I do not mean it in the sense of physical growth, I mean it in terms of your mental growth, your maturity. With the presence of the hanged man over here in gavel, it is quite possible that in your past life something could have happened that affected your family in such an extent, like to such an extent, that you were required to almost grow up overnight and take charge of the situation. And you see how the energy shifts from a child to then that of a mountain climber, right? With hero and heroine over here, and then the hat card also says you will be playing a different role. So it seems as if you were very busy living your life, having fun as a kid, playing with your siblings or your friends and all of that. For some of you, so as I was saying, maybe some of you lived in the countryside or you guys lived on a farm. And with the page of pentacles over here with the hanged man, there is a sense of your personal goals being put on a hold for the sake of what you thought was necessary for you to do for your family, for the betterment of your family. So with hero and heroine over here, it's not something that you asked for. It's not like you asked to be the savior of your family. It's just something that happened. Like your childhood was robbed almost overnight, and then you were thrown into this role. You had to wear this different hat. With the presence of gavel, um, maybe there was some issues, some legal issues or something. Some injustice could have happened. Maybe this was back when people had big loans, landlords, something like that. Yeah, especially because, like I said, this might be a farm or a countryside that's coming up over here. But the thing that's coming through very strongly about who you used to be in your past life, group 2 with hero and heroine, is that I don't think you particularly complained. Of course, with the presence of the mirror over here, it's not like you never once thought about your personal dreams or your personal goals. Of course, you did, but you never really rubbed it at anybody in anybody's faces. You never made the people in your family feel guilty for the roles and responsibilities that you were fulfilling at that stage. Somewhere with the presence of hero and heroine, your life for the most part, of course, could have seemed like an uphill battle, but I do feel like at the end you came out victorious. So if this was you working for money from a very young age to fight something, to fight a case or something like that, there is a big possibility that you could have won that. Maybe somehow you managed to finish your studies, night school or something, and you grew up to become a lawyer. Of course, it's not necessary, it's just another message that I'm getting. But it almost looks like it's straight out of some drama. It's like some serious drama movie or a novel. Because I cannot help but look at how carefree the energy in the child eternal card is. It's almost as if they're floating in the air, catching butterflies, and they have all these lovely sunflowers underneath them. Cut to, oh, in fact, yeah, maybe it was some sibling of yours who would assist you in this. So maybe if you had a sibling, younger or older, both of you had to give up on your childhood and take on the responsibilities of the house, become the breadwinners, because either one of your parents were locked up or something like that, some tragedy definitely. And you and your sibling, or if you were a single child, then you alone took your family out of that situation. Okay, now let's see what was your past life like. So for that we have creation, then we have quest, and from the tarot cards we have the green woman, which is the empress. Then we have 8 of cups that says rebirth, and we have the stag, which is the strength's energy. All right. It's interesting to note that in the quest card, we can see two possibilities over here, right? And the fact that the quest card comes after the creation card, It's like you wanted to do something else. Maybe ever since a young child you were a visionary, maybe you had a scientific bent of mind, not necessarily. Maybe you were a very artsy kid. But with Quest over here, it's like this mission was handed over to you. Okay, so you wanted to take down path A, but unfortunately you'll have to take down path B, because if not you, then who else? We're counting on you, we're relying on you. And this old woman in the Quest card, and because we also have the energy of the Empress, so you and your sibling or you alone could have done this out of devotion for your mother, especially if it was your father or some father figure in your family who was under judicial custody or something like that. So as a token of service for your mother, you and your sibling went all out and did whatever you guys could to ensure that she would get a good life and to ensure that you and your sibling could get a decent life. I absolutely, absolutely love the fact that we have rebirth, Empress, and the strength over here, because this tells me that this hero's journey that you guys undertook in your past life, you had to give up on so much and you struggled so much. It was not in vain, because at the end of it, you were shining. You came out on top, you came out victorious, and you stood there in your power as the Empress. In fact, because of your hard work, and you did a lot of hard work, by the way, you and your sibling, whatever hard work you guys did, because of that, not only were you able to become the best version of yourself, not just physically but materially as well. Plus, I love how we have rebirth over here, and this tells me that maybe growing up, whatever small dreams or big dreams you and your sibling had to give up on, you guys could actually bring those dreams back to life. Of course, it wasn't exactly the same. So, for instance, let's say, for example's sake, all right. So, for example's sake, let's say that um, back then you and your sibling always wanted to visit some amusement park, although I'm not sure whether amusement parks existed in the timeline that I'm channeling for you or not, but you get it. But you guys couldn't because you did not have enough money. So when you guys grew older and you could afford to take that trip, you did take it. So there were a lot of things that you did for the sake of your inner child post growing up. And with strength over here and the Empress's energy, definitely whatever this legal problem was, that came to an end. Somewhere I feel like the position of your family in that society also significantly improved. Your confidence in yourself improved. Of course, sometimes with the presence of the Eight of Cups, it would hit you out of nowhere, like if I could go back in time, if it wasn't required of me to suddenly do all these things, if I had a normal childhood like everybody else, what would my life have been like? You did ask yourself those questions, you did wonder. But at the end of it all, with the presence of the Empress, I don't think you had a lot of complaints. And of course, with the Empress's energy, you did go on to get married, you gave birth, you had a fulfilling home life. With the presence of rebirth over here, it's almost as if everything that was taken away from you and your family when you were a kid was returned to you tenfold after you grew up. So these are all the messages that I have for you right now, group 2. Now you need to go back to the timestamps, click on part 2 of your reading, make sure you select group 2 again, and in the second reading we will find out how is this past life affecting your present life and what guidance does spirit have for you for your present life. If you like this reading, do give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new over here and hit the bell icon when you do so. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hi, Group 3. If you guys chose the third image, let's find out in this part 1 of your reading who were you in your past life and what was your past life like. Once you finish watching this reading, please go back to the timestamps, click on part 2 of your reading, make sure to select Group 3 again. And in part 2, we will be taking a look at what effect is your past life having on your present life and what guidance would Spirit like to give to you for your present life. So let's begin. The cards that came out for you guys are the Exorcist that says freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. Then we have Child Magical that says seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. From the tea leaves, we have Claw that says be careful, do not take risks. We have Bell that says announcement. And from the tarot cards, we have the Page of Swords and we have the Sun of Life. So, Group 3, who were you in your past life? With the energy of the Exorcist and Child Magical, I strongly feel like you were a light being. You had some sort of psychic abilities in your past life. I don't know if the psychics have chosen Group 3 today. If you guys have, then, well, you know already, this is where your gift is coming from. It's always been with you. But anyway, so with Child Magical over here in Exorcist, I feel like you were born with certain abilities to heal people, to see things that other people couldn't, to read energies that other people couldn't, and just in general to understand life at a much deeper level as compared to other people. With the presence of Exorcist over here in Child Magical, maybe this lifetime is taking us back um, to a time when there were a lot of tribes around. Tribal culture was there. It is also possible that you you were the native of some place where nature spirits were worshipped. Maybe the sun was worshipped a lot by the people of your tribe, by the people of your community. And with Child Magical over here, I feel like you were always very dear to the other people in the community. I don't think you had any haters. You were very popular, and of course, the reason behind your popularity was the fact that you had these magical abilities. Maybe back then people weren't well versed with the terms that we use these days. Light being, star seed, and this and that. But back then, it was just extraordinary. It was magic. It was magical. You were magical. In fact, I just heard, and Spirit just told me for you, Group 3, that in your past life, because you were so popular, because of the abilities that you possessed, people would actually travel from far and wide just to come and see you, just to come and meet you. You were a miracle baby. You were a miracle child. And people would travel from far and wide to see you going about your day, sprinkling your magic here and there, whether it was curing someone through your healing touch or whether it was helping people connect with their dear ones that had passed away. Things like that, things that nobody could have imagined that you would do. You would do those things so seamlessly, so effortlessly. And with the presence of Bell over here, it seems like temple bells ringing. We also have Exorcist over here, of course, and the sun. So it is highly likely that you actually kept on working on strengthening these abilities of yours as you grew up. And then there could have come a time wherein you went ahead and you became the head of some religious or spiritual institution. For instance, maybe maybe you became a sage, maybe you became a priest, something like that. And people would come to you with their problems and you would offer them these spiritual insights. You would offer them solutions that doctors couldn't come up with, but you could, because like I said, you could read those deeper energies. You could see things that other people couldn't. And you see how we have the Claw card over here as well that says be careful, do not take risks, and immediately underneath that we have the Page of Swords. So your ability to detect false or detect risky things right at the nascent stage, right at the beginning stage of it, was very, very marvelous. In fact, I think that this was a time wherein, before consulting doctors and whatnot, people would usually come to you first. And if you would rule it out, like if you would say that, no, no, this requires medicine, that is when people would then go to a doctor. But first, they would always come to you. And with the page of wands over here, definitely with that energy of chirping, you you were very popular. In fact, with the sun's presence over here, I won't be surprised, group 3, and this is a very powerful message that I just heard for you guys. Some of you have actually read about yourself. This is like, I'm getting goosebumps. Some of you have read about yourself on the internet in this life because of how popular you and your, like I said, all these things you used to do were. So, I mean, just think about it. It's so fascinating that some of you have read about yourself, some of you have seen pictures of what you used to look like, but like you did not know that that was you. It's crazy. It's so amazing. But so basically, what I'm trying to say is that was the magnitude of your popularity. That was the magnitude of the the abilities that you possessed, because through word of mouth, it just reached so far and wide. In fact, with the bell card over here and the sun, it is quite possible that rulers and all these noble people and kings and queens and whatnot, they would actually invite you to come to their kingdoms and help their people as well. So you were like a traveling uh, healer, you can say. All right, now let's see what exactly was your past life like. So for that, we have release, then we have insecurity. From the tarot cards, we have the Four of Swords that says rest. We have the Five of Swords that says frustration. And we have the Ancestor, which is the Hierophant's energy. Do you see how in the insecurity card there is the depiction of a small devil over there? So this takes me back to the point that I was making earlier for this group, that you guys had the power to see things that other people couldn't. And I just don't mean dark stuff, I mean the light stuff also. Things that aren't visible to people usually with the naked eye. You could see those energies, you could see those auras, you could see those orbs and whatnot. And with release and insecurity being right next to each other, I feel like one of your bigger purposes in that past life of yours was to help alleviate people of their problems, help them release any toxicity that they had within them, no matter what the nature of that toxicity was, whether it was some some thought pattern, or whether it was something that had latched onto them. Whatever it was, you would help people to finally be able to take that sigh of relief again. You see how you look at the contrast in the frustration card and the Four of Swords, and then immediately after frustration, we have the energy of, this know it all ancestor over here. So it's almost as if when people would have almost given up trying to figure out what the problem is, that is when they would come to you, because it was known to everyone that if nobody can figure out what the issue is, group 3 most definitely can. And it was true, you always could. And if you look at it in backward order, the Hierophant can tell what the problem is. So whoever it is that's feeling frustrated can then finally rest, because you have transmuted their pain, whatever it was that was causing them any suffering, or whatever insight they needed, or whatever guidance they needed, you provided it to them, and so successfully. Also, of course, with the presence of the ancestor, I feel like right up till your old age, this is something that you would do. But there is a difference with the presence of the rest energy over here. I don't think, of course, upon invitation, you would go here and there, but not otherwise. Usually, it would be people coming from all over the world to you, wherever you used to live, to get your services, to get themselves treated or healed because of you or through you. All right, so these are all the messages that I have for you right now. Group 3, now you have to go back to the timestamps, click on part 2 of your reading, in which we will find out how is your past life affecting your present life and what guidance would Spirit like to give to you for your present life. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new over here and hit the bell icon when you do so. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.